This is part of the problem that I think is the basis of our conversation today, is that people don't have help when they are doing things like this. They may have friends or a therapist that tells them things like what we talked about, like, this is not helping you and you need to work on your relationship with yourself. But that is barely helpful. It's identifying the true problem, which is helpful, but almost nobody knows what to do about that. And that's why I believe so strongly in psychodynamic therapy. And for most people, I don't think know what psychodynamic therapy is, but it's essentially where you talk about your childhood, not the entire time, but it springs from a place of believing that what happened in your childhood is a major part, let's say 50% plus of what makes you, have trauma and act ways that are unhealthy today. And you go into those things very deeply to try to understand what happened. Most people don't remember what happened because we block out trauma, and then talk about the ways that that trauma still lives within you, and in many ways forms the borders that you live within, your kind of psychic borders, where you never will act a certain way, or you can't be messy, or you can't let certain people in your life because of this like little dictator, for lack of a better word, of your younger self who's trying to protect you, very innocently actually. But most people don't know this and really don't want to deal with it. It's a upsetting notion, and this is my depressing thought, like you were saying. You had yours before. Mine is one that I just think nobody wants to hear, but I will say it. I will say it anyway, because that's kind of the purpose of having this website, is to be able to say things like this, which is, I think that without several years of psychodynamic therapy, people with trauma will not have the help they need to heal, because the psychodynamic therapist basically is a witness that helps bring out your trauma and helps you discover it so that you can be aware of it and begin to develop the ability to recognize it, and then even tell yourself, hey, you don't need to do that, little self. You can calm down with your defense mechanism that makes you work constantly, or whatever it is. So most people don't want to hear that, and will never do that in their life, and will not be as good parents as they could be, and harm themselves and not get as far and grow as much as they could, because they can't get to psychodynamic therapy. And to make matters worse, psychodynamic therapy with a good therapist is not affordable for almost anybody.
Yeah, that's an issue. I don't like, I wish that I didn't agree with your thoughts on psychodynamic therapy. I really want to disagree with it. But I also know I don't think I've had the correct kind of psychodynamic therapy, but I don't want to agree with it because it makes sense. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because part of my adoption, the first couple months of my life were very, very traumatic, like moved from one drug person to another, to living in like a place where they sold meth and had a meth lab and all that fun stuff. Very fun. And that was just the first like 3-4 months of my life was no stability and just not healthy. And that was before I got adopted and all that. And so then I'm like, oh, that might be why I'm this way. And then I had traumatic stuff in my childhood with my adopted family too, all that fun stuff. And like, I don't want to, I totally see now that you say how it affects every part. Like, yeah, I don't want to agree with you.
I appreciate your resistance. And if you did disagree, I would be very interested to hear it, because
it's just, I know I want to, because I compartmentalize and I'm logical, I want to think that happened in the past, let's move on. But you can't just do that. you can't just move on when certain thoughts, feelings, and defense mechanisms have become ingrained in you.
Right.
And, makes me irritated. Why'd you have to bring this up? Oh, no, now I'm going to be thinking about this all the time. I think too much.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm there too. Part of my purpose of being in the world is to try to add positivity in some way, some small way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely not a person that would consciously do harm. I believe that if you find what I'm saying to resonate and be true after this conversation, then it will be the beginning of taking some, making some decision that's helpful to you using that knowledge. It's not meant to just.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate hearing your opinion, because now I'm going to have to reevaluate my whole therapy schedule and look into something new. Because I was actually looking into EDMR therapy, which is you know what it is, but I don't know what listeners know. It's rapid eye movement, basically, and then you unlock trauma and then you move through it. I don't know if it would be helpful for me, probably, who knows. But now you're just giving me new stuff to think about in a new form of therapy, because now I'm thinking maybe I haven't tried the right therapist.
Yeah.
It's
hard to find.
Pardon?
It's hard to find the right therapist. It's hard to even know what you're looking at. Yeah.